Hello everybody, welcome back. It's been a while. So today's video, there's just one coin today. It's a coin from Lydia, the town of Thyatira from the 2nd century BC. It's a bronze coin of about 21 millimeters in diameter and 7.6 grams. Now, Thyatira was an ancient Greek city in Asia Minor, which is now the modern Turkish city of Akhisar, the White Castle. The original name of the city was possibly Lydian. This is in the far west of Turkey, south of Istanbul, and like you go east from Athens, you will sort of head up there. It's about 50 miles from the Aegean Sea, and ancient times it also stood on the border between the provinces of Lydia and Mysia. In the Roman period, it's known for its famous dyeing facilities and was the center of the purple cloth trade. Now, this coin has a motif that's very, very common on Greek coins because it has representations of the Olympian god Apollo. So let's just take a quick look at how this coin is depicted on here. So now the obverse image has the head of Apollo. And Apollo is, again, it's a very standard depiction. He's wreathed, has long hair, and you have a dotted border around him. Now, there's a little bit of wear on the coin, so some of the stuff in the bottom has sort of worn off. But again, very standard way to depict this. On the reverse, you have a sacrificial tripod, again associated with Apollo, a very, very common motif on coins with Apollo on the obverse. You either have Apollo's bow or Apollo, sitting on his omphalos, but on bronzes in many cultures, you see this all the way up to what is now Afghanistan in the kingdom of Bactria. You see a lot of coins with Apollo sacrificial tripod. And this is also within a laurel wreath. And you have the name of the city in Greek written out over here, ΘYATEI-ΡＨΝΩΝ of Thyatira. So why this coin? Now, this coin itself is actually relatively rare, but I did not put this coin up here because it's a rare coin. It's a small little bronze coin. It's not really necessarily in my collecting area, but the coin itself has a story. Before we get to the story, let's do a usual comparison of the coin, how big it is, comparing it to George. As you can see, the coin is slightly smaller than a quarter. So as I said, it's a 21 millimeter coin, so it's not very huge. It's not totally small either, but it's not as big as a modern American quarter. So when I say this coin has a story, I mean this coin has a pedigree, as in it has been owned by famous collectors. So the first major part of this pedigree is this is a former coin. There's a coin from what was once the Virgil brand collection. Virgil Brand was a very famous collector who died in the 1920s. He was based in Chicago, and the reason you see the Chicago Coin Club logo here is he was incorporated. The Chicago Coin Club had its 100th anniversary last year, a couple of years ago, and they incorporated Virgil Brand into their Hall of Fame. And this Virgil Brand, even though he died in the 1920s, most of his collection did not actually go on sale until the mid 1980s, because a lot of it was inherited, I believe, by his niece, and then it was finally put on sale in 1984. And this one was in Sotheby's London sale of October 25th, 1984, almost 60 years after he died, and it was lot 328. I have not actually been able to get a hold of that particular catalog, but I thought, why wait to have this story going ahead? So just by itself, the fact it is from the Virgil Brand collection gives us a pedigree that is one of the most famous collectors out there, but it gives us a pedigree of almost 100 years. But that is not all. This story of this coin goes even further. Virgil Brand himself got this coin from this guy. Who is this guy, you ask? His name was Dr. Sir Herman David Weber, born in 1823, who died in 1918. He was a German physician who practiced medicine in England. Weber was actually born in Germany, attended college in Germany, graduated about 1848, and then he basically moved to England in the 1850s and became a member of the College of Physicians in 1855, was elected a fellow in 1859, and served as the resident medical officer in London's German hospital. And he's known because of his pioneering work on the open-air treatment of consumption. And for this, he was knighted by Queen Victoria in 1899. He's known primarily also for Weber's syndrome, which is a form of stroke that affects the medial portion of the midbrain. The syndrome obviously is named after him. Now, Weber himself was an avid coin collector, and he assembled a huge collection of Greek coins, and his collection was published in 3 volumes in the 1920s by Spink. And this is a coin from that particular collection. Now, let's wrap up the story about Weber. He was awarded the Medal of the Royal Numismatic Society in 1905, and his son, Frederick Parkes Weber, was also a physician and coin collector. Now, Herman Weber created the Weber Parkes Prize for 150 British pounds for the best essay on tuberculosis in 1894. In 1954, the Royal Numismatic Society created the Parkes Weber Prize in honor of his son, Frederick Weber, and that prize still goes on today. It's awarded annually by the Royal Numismatic Society for original research relating to numismatics by a young scholar under the age of 30. It's awarded for an original essay of more than 5,000 words on any subject related to coins, medals, medallions, tokens, or paper money. Now, it does not have to be awarded every year, so any of you who's under 30 has an original idea, definitely do add yourselves to the annals of numismatic history and apply for this award. So as I mentioned, Weber's collection was put on auction was actually published by Spink, and it's a 3-volume collection. It's called the Weber collection, and this particular coin shows up in volume 3, which deals with Greek coins from Asia. And if you look here, it mentions all the way at the end our old friend Lydia. This particular portrait of Weber shows up actually in volume 1, not in volume 3, but I thought, hey, why not show up another picture of the guy. As I mentioned, this is a coin on the Weber collection, and this particular coin is listed in the Weber collection book, volume 3. So let's take a closer look at the catalog. This is plate coin numbers. Well, it is coin number 6920, and then you have a plate number, because obviously not all the coins back then would necessarily be plated. It says 245 on it. And as I said, gives you the weight, gives you the diameter, which I mentioned, and gives you the description that I previously described. The laureate head of Apollo to the right, curls hanging down the neck, has the name of the city. You can see it in Greek. And so basically what I gave you before, but that's how it is described. And again, at the top, this is for the coins of Thyatira. So it talks about the description of the city as well. As I mentioned, the Weber collection, even for a 100-year-old book, has plates. And this is the page on which you find aforesaid plates. And zooming in, here is a closer shot of the 100-year-old picture of this same coin as published as a plate coin of the Weber collection. Not bad for a 100-year-old picture. But wait, there is more. Let's go back to the page where we had the description of the coin in the Weber collection catalog, and let's zoom in. So once we zoom in, you will see at the bottom right there is a description: A.O. van Lennep, Smyrna, 1891. What does that refer to? Well, it likely refers to this guy. And who is this guy? This, assuming I pulled the right picture, because there was a little confusion when I was searching on Google, is Alfred Oscar van Lennep, born 1851, died around 1912. He was a Dutchman, born in Smyrna, seems to have lived there most of his life, if not all of his life, an amateur archaeologist, a numismatist, a trader in antiquities, and eventually a vice consul of the Kingdom of the Netherlands in Smyrna. Van Lennep sold coins to the British Museum, and if you go in the British Museum collection, you will note there are coins acquired from Van Lennep, and he sold this particular coin in 1891 to our old friend Weber. And that is where the story of this coin begins. Van Lennep, as an archaeologist, may have found it, but he's almost certainly the guy who eventually got first dibs on this coin or discovered this coin. So it is a pedigree for this coin going back over 100 years, and actually going back 130 years. So I was very excited when I got this coin because I typically, well, it's interesting to remember that coins were minted in the hundreds of thousands to millions, and there are a lot of these coins floating around. And it is frankly a very unreasonable burden in most cases to say you must have the pedigree of these coins. These were mass-produced objects intended by their nature to travel, and there are so many of them. When you have a hoard, you sometimes find thousands and thousands of coins, and many of these coins often are small, not particularly pricey coins, and so it's very easy for these to basically disperse and you lose the chain of title of ownership. But here is a coin that has gone through not one, but two collectors, and it's a very cool find. It is something I was very excited to get. As I said, this is not a normal collecting area for me. It's not like I collect Greek coins, but I'm not particularly collecting coins of Apollo or bronze coins from Lydia. But I got this coin for the pedigree. My first coin from the Elton Brand collection, which is why I got this coin. And then an even further pedigree from the Weber collection. So that is the story of this coin. What I do not know is in the intervening 35 odd years what this coin was up to. And that, unfortunately, as I said, is a mystery I may never entirely break. But it's a cool story again. Two major collectors, Weber and Brand. And so that closes out. It's a much longer video than usual, mainly because not only am I talking about the coin, I'm talking about the story behind this coin in particular. So I hope you bear with me. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you like this video, please hit subscribe and the bell icon, and you will get notifications as new videos post. I will have other videos coming up soon, so I will look forward to seeing you.